pursuing greatness or simply pursuing whatever the fuck you can get away with. That's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to the channel. Old Guy Inc. Do me a favor. Please hit subscribe real quick. Drop a comment. So I am going to just jump on the bandwagon in a little bit of a different approach, talking about Katrin David's daughter in particular. And yes, I know a lot of people are picking on Katrin, and that's the problem. When you're a high-profile athlete, you have to understand that you have more eyeballs on you. Certainly, when you're a featured athlete in the semifinal in the country in which you live, you have even greater eyeballs on you. So that's why I'm not going to go down the route of, once again, kind of talking about what are our judges looking at. However, hopefully, if you're watching this channel, you also are somebody who watches the semifinals, and so you already know exactly what I'm talking about. So, in no particular order, what I want to talk about specifically and why I made the comment to pursuing whatever you can get away with is, I feel like we kind of stepped over even another line today. So I normally try to stay super on the positive approach, as you guys know, and I've tried not to call out athletes and judges, and I've tried to make as many excuses as I could, saying, hey, you know, I bet you somebody could find a video of me online where my movement is not of the utmost quality. But what I talk about is that, you know, hey, I'm giving athletes the benefit of the doubt that, like, look, the athletes are going fast. They're trying their best. You don't always know exactly what you're doing. I've tried to cut judges some slack by saying I think judging is incredibly hard. I don't want to be judging. They're multitasking. You know, yes. Am I making excuses? 100%. What I believe Katrin has done this weekend is kind of set a new bar to where it's just really not possible to give her, the athlete, the benefit of the doubt in this situation. And I'm going to start specifically with that kettlebell movement she was doing. Now, I'm not going to call it kettlebell deadlifts because for the most part, she was not performing deadlifts. I'm not exactly sure what she was doing. I mean, there's no possible way. Here's the deal. Okay, clearly in this situation, she knows that she wasn't standing all the way up and coming even close to hitting full extension. But here was the kicker. The kicker was that I understand her judge wasn't calling her out, but the head judge came over. Now, once again, I saw the head judge talking to the judge, and I saw people talking to Kat. I'm not sure she ever lost a rep. I think she might have got the world's largest amount of warnings. But regardless of that, what's very, very obvious is that every time that head judge came over, and at one point he came and stood right next to her, it was blatantly obvious that her form changed when she knew she was specifically being watched. So what that means is, in my opinion, and I feel very strong about this opinion, she knew exactly what she was doing. She could tell the difference. And so she made a concerted effort to try to stand up and actually complete the deadlift the way you're supposed to when she had a judge staring right at her. And then when that judge walked away, she would go right back to what she was doing. So to me, that was very disappointing. I think anyone who has even a slightly trained eye and it was paying attention could see her form kind of go back and forth as she knew she was being watched. And so it's kind of like she knew she could get away with it with one judge, but when the head judge came over, she's like, okay, I better stand all the way up. I don't know. I just didn't like that. I didn't like it. I mean, that's really the only way to explain it. I did not feel, for one of the first times since I've been getting involved like everybody else in all this judging and no reps, I really, really just haven't felt like athletes are doing it on purpose, you know, and I'm trying to just give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But Katrin, whoa, big time on that. Now, that was really just the beginning, okay? I was 99% sure that before those burpees. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you haven't seen the burpees that I'm talking about, you need to see them. And I'm going to tell you right now, yes, I even got a little old break dancing in me, okay? So I can do the worm, okay? I attempted to do those burpees that she was doing, and what I'm telling you is that shit was hard. Like, there is no way that that is not a technique that she worked on. There's no way that her and her coach did not spend time, think about how to do that, practice that. I mean, burpees are something you do a million times. I have never seen somebody use that technique. It was a very difficult technique. It was very impressive how you could do that and then stop your momentum and never once have your chest even come close to hitting the deck. So those two things to me were, unfortunately, one of the biggest things I got out of this weekend. Was here was an athlete who clearly is no longer where she wants to be in the sport, and I get that. And clearly the pressure of living up to those expectations has gotten to her, and the pursuing greatness part is out the window. And I don't know. I mean, as an athlete, it is tough. I understand the pressures, and you're trying to cut corners and do everything you can. There's a lot of money involved in making it to the next level. So there's some excuses right there. But it was a little disappointing is really just all I want to say. So, now Katrin moves on to the last chance qualifier. Now, whatever people in her corner and judges and coaches are helping her come up with those burpee movement that they created to basically cheat the system. I mean, these are going to be the same people now that are going to be judging her for the the last chance qualifier. History has pretty much shown that CrossFit probably isn't going to go in and judge those videos and assess, penalties as appropriate. Sometimes they do throw out some penalties, but anyway, very disappointed. I'm not trying to attack her personally, but I do think that she stepped into kind of a next line of, sometimes I think our athletes are just moving super quick. They don't know what they're doing. And really it is more on the judges. The judges aren't doing their job. CrossFit's not analyzing the videos on the online submissions enough. And I think that's really where the emphasis should go. In this situation, I definitely think this responsibility is leaning a little bit more towards the athlete. And I think Katrin proved that she knows what she's doing. She understands the difference between a good deadlift and a bad deadlift. She demonstrated it when she knew she was being watched. And then she demonstrated the fact that nobody's pulling off those type of burpees without some significant effort and practice. So little disappointed in that. Wondering what your guys' thoughts were. Hopefully you saw those videos. If you didn't, you could jump on over to Andrew Hiller's page. He put together a couple pretty good videos where it shows them in slow-mo and stuff, so I don't need to redo that. But that was it. That was just my thoughts on that. I was just I almost felt bad for Katrin. I just felt like after day one, she knew she wasn't good enough in the field. And so in day two, she just said, screw it. I'm going to throw caution to the wind. I'm going to see what I can get away with. And if it works, it works. And, there's part of me that understands that dilemma as an athlete. But it was still disappointing nonetheless. So anyways, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Wasn't a fan of it. Hopefully you weren't either. Take care.